everybody. Hi, my name is Tad Hargrave. Welcome to another YouTube edition of the session on HUBS. Actually, we're focusing on a new thing right now called HUBS. And if you've seen any of the videos before, you will know that there's 4 components that we're going to be looking at in this series. The first one is looking at what is the niche that you're focusing on. Who are you going after? Who are you focusing on with your business? Second is the offer. What are you giving them? What is it that you're, what are you offering them that's so irresistible? And the third thing we're going to look at is HUBS, which is just basically where do you find them and how do you reach them? And I'm really excited about this topic. This was one of the ideas that when I really got it, I'd been teaching marketing for years, but when this really clicked for me, it really changed a lot. And so just to do a quick recap, we gave an example in an earlier, I think probably the first video, about a realtor in Seattle named Phoenix Rudner, and his website is seattlehousehound.com. And he is a realtor who decided to focus on dog owners. Dog lovers who are moving and they have a pet and they need to make arrangements to find a house that's not just perfect for them but also for the pet. And that he could spend all of his time trying to individually approach all of the dog owners, just trying to randomly find them on the street. Or if he's smart, he could ask himself, where do dog owners and dog lovers already hang out? Where are they already spending their time, their money, their attention? And that's one of the first questions I want to sort of put to you, is to think about your own niche, your own sort of target market. And you want to ask yourself, the short question is, where do they put their time? Where do they put their money? Where do they put their attention already? Where is it already going? Who do they already trust? Who's already influencing them? And so for Phoenix, he realized that, well, there's a lot of things. There's vets, pet trainers, dog groomers, kennels, pet stores, dog parks where they hang out, dog walkers, dog psychologists. There's a lot of things where they already are. And so he would be a lot better served, instead of trying to approach them all individually, one-on-one, where he has no relationship with those people, to instead build a relationship with the people they know, with the people they trust. And those people are hubs for their own network. They have a client base. They have a list of people, whether formal or informal. They have a list that they can reach out to endorse him. So this is really critical to think about for your own business. And the challenge is that most people haven't done the work to think about a niche, one or more niches for their business. They don't have any kind of target market. And if you have no target market, it's impossible to find the hubs. And it's probably one of the questions people ask me the most at the trainings is, Tad, where do I market? Where do I advertise? What magazines? What, where should I go? Should I go to this trade show or not? It's 100% dependent on, well, your niche, and that will determine the hubs. If you were a wedding photographer, well, wedding planners are going to be a great hub for you. The wedding stores where people buy their clothes and stuff, limo companies could potentially be one. Places where these people are already going to be spending their time, their money, their attention. So that's sort of an overview. And I want to go a little bit deeper into the 3 criteria of a hub. And then we're going to look at, there's 6 or 7 different kinds of hubs that are pretty much across industry, across business that you can look at. So the 3 criteria, they're well connected, they're well respected, and they're open to endorsing stuff. So when we say well connected, this means a few things. There's a lot packed into that. Well connected means, number one, that they know a lot of people in your niche. They might be very, very well connected to 2 or 3 people. Now, if those are 2 or 3 other hubs who are the right people, it could be great. But they're well connected to a good number of people in your target market. Number 2, they're in touch with them pretty often. It's not just that they met them at a party in 1972 and they remember them. It's that they're probably in some ongoing communication with them. Number 3, within that, not just that there's a lot of them, not just that they're in ongoing communication, but they ideally have some sort of a mechanism for communication, meaning a database, a list, a list they can email or mail to, so that if they wanted to be in touch with them, they could do it at a push of a button. Maybe they speak at a conference or meetings on an ongoing basis where people see them. There's some kind of mechanism that if they wanted to get the word out about something they believed in, whether it was something they were doing or a friend was doing, they would have a way to do it. And if there is no mechanism, they're not going to be as well connected. They're not going to be as good a hub. The second one is well respected. Well respected meaning, well, you know what that means. They're people look up to them. People trust them. Well connected is, they meet a lot more people than the average bear, and they talk to a lot more folks. But well respected is that people, people trust them. They have a lot of credibility with people. And what's interesting is people who are hubs usually know they're hubs. And they're very cautious about who they endorse and when they endorse and how they do that, because they know that if they give a bad endorsement of something, it can screw up their reputation. And you've probably had this where a friend maybe set you up on a blind date with somebody and it went horribly wrong and pear-shaped. And you sort of trust that person's advice, a little less. I remember I was renting movies with some friends, and I rented Hot Shots, the movie Hot Shots. But in the case was Hot Shots Part 2, which I don't think was as funny. And they really hated it. They didn't like it at all. And it took me a few years to rebuild my credibility of picking movies. I had to pick like What a Wonderful Life and Life is Beautiful and all these movies that I knew were guaranteed home runs, just to build my credibility back up to zero. And they still tease me about it. So the point is, people who are hubs, who are well respected, have gotten to be well respected by endorsing very selectively, very carefully. And it's important that they're well respected, because if they're just well connected and everybody knows them, well, they could be an asshole. And they could be well connected, but people don't like them. People don't trust them. They have no credibility. So it's got to be both of those two. And part of well connected may mean that these are people who are hubs, network hubs and groups. Whether it's official or unofficial that they're a hub, you all know people in your life who just seem to know everybody. They're really well connected. They seem to be a center point where things come together. They often travel a lot, which is interesting. And they're always, whether it's personal or on business, they tend to travel a lot. So to think about for who you know, who travels a lot, people who are well respected, they're people who tend to get asked their opinion a lot about stuff. It's you probably have a friend when your car breaks down, you call them. You may have a friend when your computer breaks down, you call them. That person is a hub. And there's probably a distinction that's important to drop here between regular hubs and mega hubs. A regular hub is that's your friend you call when your computer breaks down. It's your friend you call if you're having trouble in your garden. You may have a friend who you call for that. But a mega hub, we're talking like an Oprah Winfrey or a politician, a celebrity, somebody who's got bigger. There's probably shades of gray in between there. But it's important to know there's regular and then there's sort of more significant ones. Number 3, they're open to endorsing. And there's a lot that goes into this. When we say open to endorsing, the easiest way to check is, have they endorsed other things that aren't their own products or services to their list? Whether that's been at meetings or by email or by sending a letter. Have they ever done it? If they haven't, it doesn't mean they won't, but it's something to check. Also, in terms of open to endorsing, a good thing sometimes they're just overwhelmed. There was one local conscious progressive business group, and they would be perfect to bring me in, but they were totally overwhelmed. And so, it wasn't appropriate. They were theoretically open to endorsing, but not in practice. So when we come back, we're going to continue looking at the hubs. At the end of this video, you're going to see a website you can go to for a free download of some materials. It's a 30-40 page PDF. You can check it out, and it's got a lot of this material in more detail. Thanks for watching.